So, like we've been saying, there's a test tomorrow, right? Your first test. All your Unit 1 work is due, right? That's why we're reviewing today. Now, the review is very much like the test tomorrow. So, if you can get a good grade on it today, meaning if you can do it, check your answers. If you get a good result today, you would likely get a good result tomorrow. Did y'all write holiday for Monday and then start writing this on Tuesday? Because if not, then you can just draw an arrow to Tuesday and put holiday on Tuesday and do a switcheroo. It's up to you, okay? But today is not Monday. Feels like a Monday, but it's actually a Tuesday, right? 3-day weekend. All right. Here we go. Last little reminder, if you were not here Friday, you want to turn in last week's warm-up sheet. Okay, put absent on the days you were absent. Now look at number 1 here. Then we learned some Desmos tricks on how to solve an equation. But number 1, it doesn't work for number 1. Because look, there's an X and a Y. There are 2 letters. You can't use Desmos to solve a 2-letter, 2-variable equation. So I'm going to show you, you got to do this one by hand. So like tomorrow on the test, you'll have a blank sheet of paper. You're going to have to write it down and solve it 2 steps, okay? It is not a guessing game, okay? You might even be able to do it mentally, but I still would like you to write it because sometimes you catch yourself making little mental errors when you write things out. So I highly suggest when you're solving, write it out. That's why you'll be given blank paper, okay? Well, number 1 here, here's your first step. If I want to solve for y, I need y by itself. Y currently has a minus 2x and a minus 6. I got to get rid of both of them. So first step, how do I get rid of a minus 2x? What's the opposite? Plus 2x, okay? We're moving the whole term over. So plus 2x plus 2x. The minus 2x and the plus 2x cancel out. Be careful here. You got to bring down the left side. What is on the left side that I need to bring down? What's in front of the 6? Negative. So don't forget the sign in front of it. So if it's a plus sign, just write the number. But if it's a minus sign, think of it like a negative, negative 6y. Equals, this is very important. 8 plus 2x is not 10. It's not 10x. You cannot combine these terms because they're not like terms. Y'all see how this one has an x and this one doesn't? They're different, okay? So since they're not like terms, you just write them next to each other. But you got to put the x term first. So this is what I always write. Check it out. This goes in front of the 8. The positive 2x goes first, then the 8. So here we go. 2x and a positive 8 means plus 8. So is everyone looking up here? So again, all I did was, first of all, get rid of the x term. I did the opposite. I added it. I can't combine them, so I wrote it in front of the constant. Last step, how do I get rid of that negative 6 in front of y? Divide is right, because negative 6 has a little invisible math multiplication sign there, so the opposite is to divide by what? It has to match, negative 6. So make sure it matches the exact same number when you divide, and everything gets divided by negative 6. Okay, so the negative and the 6 cancel out on the left. Now I have y equals, that's what I wanted. But here's the deal. 2 divided by negative 6 is a fraction. It doesn't give me a whole number. And I don't want to leave it as 2 over negative 6 because I'll tell you, it reduces. Now let's say you're not sure if it reduces. I would like for you to be able to mentally reduce fractions. But if you can't, or even if you're not sure, you got to know how to do it on Desmos. So let me show you here. Okay, with Desmos off to the left here, 2 over negative 6. You can actually just type that in here on Desmos, 2 divided by minus 6. I don't want that ugly decimal because you'll notice your answer choices on the review and the test are going to be fractions. So how do I turn that 2 over negative 6 into a reduced fraction? Does everyone see off to the left here, there's this like fraction looking thing. Y'all have seen that before? You click that, and it's going to reduce the fraction for you. Does everyone see that it's equal to negative 1 over 3? So please leave things as fractions when we're doing this y equals stuff, okay? We're going to talk about this next unit more, but it's going to be slope, rise over run. It needs to be a fraction. Okay, what about 8 over negative 6? Let's see if that reduces. 8 divided negative 6. Click this fraction button, and it does reduce to negative 4 over 3, so I'm putting minus 4 over 3. Okay? Do you see the 2 steps involved in solving for y? This cannot be done in Desmos. You have to do it by hand. You move the x over by doing the opposite. These don't combine. You put the x term first, then the constant. And you divide by the exact same thing. Make sure it matches. If you need to, reduce fractions. Okay? I promise you there's one on the review today because I promise you there's one on the test tomorrow. So get some practice today, right? Number 2. We talked about this on Wednesday on the Jeopardy review. But what if you have 2 rectangles that they say are equal in their area? Does everyone remember area is base times height, or length times width, right? So what if this was the base times height of one rectangle, and what if this is the base times height of another rectangle? And you know that they're equal. Well, this is what it would look like, okay? So if you see something like that on the review or on the test, okay, you're setting it up like this. Base times height equals base times height. You're setting those equal because it says the word equal. But here's the question. Can you solve that equation? Now, in theory, you should be able to solve it by hand. You should be able to distribute, get rid of the smaller x, get rid of the loner, and divide. But we also learned the Desmos tricks. Does everyone know the Desmos skill? We'll call it that, or trick, whatever. Okay. Let's remind ourselves. Okay. So if I have an equation that I want to solve, okay, I'm going to pull up Desmos. I'm going to start typing it in. What 2 things do I have to change? X cannot be X. It has to be any other letter besides X or Y. But we pick N. Think of N solve. Okay. So I'm going to type this in. 3 parentheses 4, and I'm going to use N like N solve plus 7. Now, do I do equals or something else? I do the squiggle, the tilde, whatever. Okay. All right, and then type the rest of it in. Negative 3, 5 minus 8. N, not X, right? And remember, once you type it in with N, with the squiggle, it's going to say parameters, N equals 3. So that means X equals 3. Because I used my Desmos skill, my Desmos trick, okay? I'm telling you, when you have an equation, you can use that, N and squiggles. That'll give you the parameter answer. What if it's an inequality, less than or greater than? How is it different? How would you type that in different? Do you use N or X? X for an inequality, and you just cannot forget the squiggly brackets on the outside, okay? So here's the deal. Like I promised, this test is really, really similar to this review is really, really similar to your test tomorrow, okay? It's not the exact same, okay, but it is very similar. So if you do this today and check your answers and they're all right, I bet you'll get 100 tomorrow, okay? So this is try before you try, right? So here's the deal. When you finish this review, 9 questions long, do you see where I'm pointing back there? And over here. Okay, so I posted the answers on the wall. It doesn't help you if you just go copy down the answers. You need to practice it, okay? So try it on your own, and then you can go check your answers there. Or if you don't want to get up, it's on Google Classroom. Check the stream. I posted the key, and I posted a video of me explaining every problem. Okay, so you can watch the video if you want. You can try it and then check your answers if you want. And if you don't finish in class, because it's on Google Classroom, you can do it at home, right? Okay, So there's no excuse not to review. Test is tomorrow. Cool? I want everyone to get a great grade. Please prepare correctly. So let's get started. I'll pass this out now. Here we go.